morning, and we're in Hall 6, which is Pharma Pro&Pack, and I'm with Mr. Ashis Banerjee, who is the Chairman and Managing Director of Gansons. And nice to see you again, Ashish. We met last year.
Wonderful to reconnect.
Yeah, exactly. And for a change, we're doing a short conversation over a cup of coffee.
Yes.
So, Ashish, how have things gone? We met at the show last year,
Yes.
and you're back again in 2024. How's the intervening year been for you?
Well, it's been a very successful year, but I'm doubly excited to be back in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Primarily because it's the Indian hub for anything concerned with the healthcare. And we always are assured of a lot of enthusiastic and wide-eyed audience and visitors who view our new offerings. So in that sense, it's like the booster we need for continuing to innovate and build better systems as we go into the next year again.
Right.
So we hope to be back the next year also.
Yeah, this stall seems to be slightly larger than last year because you have an extension across the aisle. So what are you showcasing this year which is different to what you've done previously?
Well, basically what we've done is, the space across the corridor is we're trying to simulate a R&D lab because we are actually running live trials on a global first system. And it's like the convergence of many operations into one, just like your iPhone.
Yeah.
So, and we feel this is becoming a very vital tool for the Indian R&D segment. This is a much smaller machine for proof of concept studies, but we can go all the way up to an R&D system.
Yeah.
It has a very small footprint, and it's been built in response to the challenges which our clients told us, and particularly scientists told us. Because molecules are becoming much more expensive to even do trials with. And secondly, and that was a very interesting insight, is that when any pharma company actually invests in facilities, the last priority in terms of brick and mortar is given to the R&D lab. So we said, can we create something which is an extremely small footprint, and each scientist has his own workstation. So the scientists aren't sharing things. The second thing, of course, is we brought our staples here, but year to year we add innovations and improvements which yield tangible results. And I'm quite proud to say that in our conviction, we believe we're probably amongst the peer group of companies internationally doing stuff.
But at the end of the day, it's a scientist who's your actual consumer.
Yes, he
and
is.
It's important to get his or her input as to what they require, rather than some purchasing manager or the chief scientist or whatever.
Yes.
So that's actually just changing the focus a little bit.
Yeah.
But have you made any? What are the main technical and technological advances that you're showcasing this year compared to last year?
Well, basically what's happened is that we find that the pharmaceutical community every 3 years has a new initiative or thought process. So now the process is towards continuous manufacturing, but we look at the semantic of continuous mode as continual rather than continuous, because continuous comes with its own challenges, both technology and regulatory wise.
Right.
But whereas if you can develop systems which balances out your production line, you can stop and start and maximize and reduce as per your market demands. The other thing we've been very conscious of is the concern for our pharma companies, particularly in the international markets, at the kind of prices they're fetching for their medicaments.
Yeah.
And that's continuing, the margins continue to shrink. So how do we create technologies which still affords a level of cost effectiveness in serving market needs? So that's an area we focused in. And we are arguably one of the few companies which work with educational institutes, and we believe this is going to power a lot of the innovation we do.
Right.
I mean, you can imagine, we sent spacecrafts out somewhere, a fraction of the cost is costed the Americans.
Yes, absolutely.
And we say, why can't we do that also with our equipment here?
So in all of that, obviously that puts a lot of challenges for you, but in a more broader context, what do you see as the big challenges over the next, say, 5 years in your industry?
It's a very good question. I mean, the big challenges obviously will be that companies will have to continually keep working on the cost effectiveness. Again, I'm aware that a lot of the larger pharmaceutical manufacturers are looking at their operational efficiencies with a great deal of scrutiny. So that in itself will ergo follow that we will have to take care.
Yeah.
The second is, of course, the regulatory environment we are operating in, because we are aware that all our clients are coming under more strict scrutiny as far as regulatory aspects are concerned. So it follows that we have to respond to even some of the observations we're getting on the equipment. And we've got to preempt it by building it first, testing it, and then being ready when the client wants it. So that is a challenge where you have to continually think about what we should be doing rather than responding.
But actually, that's an important point, because normally what happens is regulation kind of like lags the innovation that's happening, and they have to play catch up all the time.
Yes.
So then how do you balance, you have the potential to innovate something new, a new process, a new product, a new technology, whatever it may be, but the regulation is not yet in place
Yes.
to manage that entire process.
Yes.
So then how do you actually get the actual balance?
Well, basically, we've tempered or moderated our enthusiasm to go about quote unquote innovating.
Yeah.
Because we ask the classic question we are taught as all Indians, isme kya fayda hai? So it's not like we're innovating for the sake of innovating, but it has to make tangible sense in real-time results. I always try to provide the analogy of aircrafts purchased by airlines these days, because an aircraft only makes money for the airline when it's up in the air.
Yes.
In the same way, how do we continue to make systems which require minimal maintenance, even preventive maintenance, but keep on, take a licking and keep on ticking, quite to say, so that's, yeah. So that is and we've been very fortunate because we have all the global brands available here.
Yeah.
So when we talk about a Made in India vision, thanks to our DNA, we've always been a Made in India company. We design everything with a clean sheet of paper.
Right.
But, we don't see Made in India in a very narrow sense. We've developed a great number of partnerships around the world with smaller entities, but they have profound experience and knowledge in the area they're experiencing. And we're trying to bring that into all our manufacture so that our clients in India get arguably the best solution and the best of both worlds, literally.
Okay. Yeah. So where do the opportunities following on exactly from that? Again, in the next 5 years, let's say by 2030, the big opportunities exist where? In your industry and for you, for Gansons particularly?
Well, the opportunities obviously exist because, it's a worn cliche by now that India is becoming the pharma hub of the world and the pharmacy of the world. But having said that, we believe a lot of innovation will also move to India. And I'm already seeing the signs, because when you look at the service levels we're seeing in the West whenever I visited, for some reason they're falling short now. Of course, they would again recompense with AI and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then I don't necessarily see our massive population as a sort of burden. Obviously, there's a stretch on resources, but it's also 1.5 billion brains.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that resource is there, and the potential, more importantly, is there. And you mentioned earlier that you do work with educational institutions,
Yes,
etc. And have you noticed a change? Because the complaint has always been, well, maybe not the complaint, but the comment has been from senior executives across the board in many industries, that there's a lag between when engineers particularly come out of engineering school and when they join the real world, so to speak, that there is a gap between that. Has that gap narrowed? Is it the same? Has it widened? What's your experience been?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's narrowed, albeit maybe it has increased incrementally. But having said that, that's because a lot of the college curriculum and technical institute curriculum hasn't been continually updated. At the same time, the students aren't challenged to apply the knowledge they're learning in the classrooms. We're trying to, in our own little way, engage the educational institutes much more, inviting them, training them, familiarizing them, exposing them to contemporary technologies, so that when they go into the industry, it's not like a deer caught in the headlights. They pretty much have seen those equipment or have worked in a small scale at R&D, because we have an R&D lab and a facility also. So we want them to keep on touching, feeling, using the equipment, and obviously asking questions, because that also provides us an insight where to improve. We are also doing a number of research studies with institutes on aspects, and we believe that will be one of the impetus for the Indian pharma industry to grow much faster than anyone can expect.
So as part of that, do you have internship programs? Do you work with that, or perhaps even working on real life projects which then go towards the students' assessment as part of their degree?
Yes, we do. Okay. Yes, we do. They have to come in and do an internship, where we are aligned currently with some of the pharmaceutical institutes close to our center in Thane, but also we actively work with the premier institutes like Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai, because they in turn are also now have a pharma wing, and they're doing some very interesting research projects for international clients. So we're continually in touch with them. It also provides an insight as to how the nature of administering a medicine will change in the decade or so.
Right.
So that kind of preempts us to continually keep looking at the form of administering the drug differently. Yeah.
So let's pivot a little bit and let's talk about your presence here in Pharma Pro&Pack 2024. What's the response been? How have things been? We are coming towards the end of the actual exhibition. How have things been for Gansons?
In a way, it's kind of for us at Hyderabad, it's like a homecoming. I'll tell you why. A lot of our clients, loyal clients, have been in Hyderabad and around the area in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, as you mentioned. But as I was telling our marketing team, our booth or our offerings we're showing kind of reflects our attitude to how we engage our clients.
Right.
It's not just pure technology. You also want to have a welcoming feeling to people coming or sitting, talking at casual, because getting away from work and sitting here and talking in a more relaxed way is obviously therapeutic for them, but even more therapeutic for us.
As we're doing over a cup of coffee, so
exactly.
it works very well. So when you get back to Bombay, as you will pretty shortly, what are the learnings that because you've obviously been around, had a look at various stalls and perhaps some of your competitors and all of that. What are the learnings that you would think that you'll be able to take away?
Well, one of the things is that when you sit at your office or in your company, it's easier to sit within four walls saying, you know, we're doing fine and we're doing the greatest. But the moot point is when you come here, you also realize that everyone in a commensurate level is raising technology, which means you have to raise your bar, you know. So, yeah, in that sense, it gives us, but more importantly, when our clients come and speak to us at leisure over here, and they say, you know, I'm having this challenge. This part from you is done great, but is this part which is still a challenge? And that's what's interesting, because we go back and start working on it.
Right, okay. Well, it's been really illuminating. I always enjoy chatting with you. I've been talking to Mr. Ashis Banerjee, who's the Chairman and Managing Director of Gansons. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you,
and
Rahul.
look forward to seeing you next year.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.